Yes, hello there, hello. I've just come back from a toy shop actually called the Entertainer in the UK. I've known for a while that they have a lot of stuff in there that's old Black Series stuff. So I went down and I only went down, I rang them up first. And I spoke to them in my normal voice, I have to say. It would have been quite funny if I'd done it in that voice, wouldn't it, really? And I said, well, what have you got? Have you still got Black Series stuff down there? And he said, yeah, he only mentioned a couple of things though. He said, yeah, we've got Ponda Baba, we've got lots of Ponda Baba. And we've got, I can't remember what else he said, but I went in there and they had shed loads of stuff still. They've got lots of Black Series, they've got the orange card stuff, they've got the TIE Fighter stuff, and then they've got that new stuff. But anyway, I went down with the sole aim of getting him because I want him loose. Though you might not believe it, I am a loose guy as well as being a loose guy. I sound like this. I like the sound of that. I'm not just a card to collect, I have stuff loose is my point. So I wanted him, but I also maybe went a little bit crazy in there and I bought a lot of other things. But the price at £5 a piece, why not indeed? So I got this Stormtrooper as well. It's fully articulated, first order Stormtrooper. You can't not get that when it's sat there on the shelf. And I got this Poe Dameron as well because I always sort of knew I wanted him fully articulated. But who knows, you might see him on a vintage card in the future as well, so who knows. I got two of these guys, as I say, with army building in mind, which is a bit silly really. Maybe I'm pissing away my money there because I don't have a loose collection at the minute. It's all in boxes, I don't have any space, but the grand plan in the future is to have a collecting room with lots of shelves, and I would have a few of these guys together in an Endor diorama. Maybe it's because I try and speak too quick that I can't get the words out. Speaking of army building, I got this Stormtrooper and another, which isn't the best Stormtrooper they made. It's actually, I think it's not a kit bash, but it's basically that Sandtrooper minus the pauldron and the backpack, and it's quite a stiff kind of feeling Stormtrooper, so it's not the best, but anyway, it's still a Stormtrooper and it looks pretty cool, and it's fully articulated. And then this R2-D2, which I firmly believe that this first line of figures that came out in this Black Series, which was 2012, I believe, I'm a firm believer that they should have been or could have been on vintage cards, because the vintage collection ceased at the point of these figures coming out. And it begs the question, that R2-D2, was it going to go on that beautiful first 12 R2 card, which I pray to God they will bring out one day. I really do. I love that card. But anyway, it didn't. Speaking, I'm going to do a video about this because I want to talk about repacks, and because there's good and there's bad scenarios of repacks. Some are good and some are bad. This is a good repack, Ponda Baba, because his vintage equivalent was so expensive that if you missed the boat on buying the first vintage figure, buying him first time round, his value now is massive. I don't know what it's like in America, but over in the UK he's really expensive. So when he came about, it was a good thing to get him loose if you wanted him loose. Which is the other point, where has all this stuff come from? I know for a fact that if you were in a Walmart in America a long time ago, you would have been able to pick him up. But in Asda stores in the UK, which is the equivalent of the Walmart family store, they never came to the UK, but suddenly now they're all here. It's like the shipment from America has finally arrived, and and all this old stuff as well is here. So I don't know where it's all come from, but anyway, let's move on. This is a figure I've wanted to get loose for a while, or have him. So that's Commander Wolf. Also begs the question, could he have been on a vintage card, or would he look good? We certainly do need more Clone Wars stuff in the vintage collection. And then there's this Doom. I once owned him a while ago and I sold him on. I never got around to opening him and I needed the money and I sold him on for a profit, but now I have him back for £5. Why not to have him loose in the collection? This Mace Windu, awesome figure. I already own him, but I bought him with customization in mind. In fact, I'm going to pick up the phone again. Hello there, and I'm going to try and speak to Tatooine Customs about figures like this one and also this guy here, because he might be able to help me customize them and put them onto vintage cards, because that would be awesome. It's a nice figure that, by the way, loose, if you don't have that Mace Windu. Certainly follows the Clone Wars trend there. Also begs the question, could it have been on a vintage card? And yet this one is another one as well. Beautiful figure, that loose. I already own him. I bought him again with customization in mind, but he would be awesome on an Attack of the Clones card back for sure. Imagine that, that'd be awesome. I've done a video on that if you want to check it out in the vintage collection wish list. But people won't want to see that repack. I'll talk about that in a separate video actually, repacks, because some people won't want to see that repacked on a vintage card because they've already got the figure, they don't believe in repacks. But I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. And then finally, this Wedge Antilles, which I don't own that Wedge. I bought him because I don't own him. I already have a Wedge Antilles. I have the vintage collection Wedge Antilles. Where are you? Wedge, where are you? Blasted Wedge, where are you? No, it's Blasted Biggs, where are you? There he is. I've got this Wedge, which is a beautiful figure loose. But I thought I'd pick this one up because I do have a Luke snowspeeder through in the other room, and although it's not Wedge's snowspeeder, who the hell's going to know, except me and you, and I've told you. But yes, this would go nicely in my vintage snowspeeder, even though it's Luke's. But maybe Wedge was borrowing it. Luke, can I borrow your snowspeeder? Sure, Wedge, no problem, thanks. And that would be the conversation between the two. And then finally I was in there and I saw this around the corner from all this really cheap stuff, and this was a normal premium price of £15 in there, but I saw it, as you know, well you might not know, I already own it because I bought the whole wave of the first wave, because it was just seeing this in a shop sort of excites you, and you think, oh, I've got to get it because this might be my last chance to get it, because I want this loose is my point. I want him loose. I don't own him. Apparently he is a repack. He was out in something else, but because I don't have him loose, I want to have him loose. I've said that about 10 times now. But I will keep the car back, and I might try. I have a vintage. I have a spare vintage 80s Rebel Soldier, which I might try and put in there for a little bit of fun and see if it works, see if he fits in, and see what it looks like. So I will obviously recycle that packaging, and then finally. You might like this usual, Mike. It's nothing to do with Star Wars. I know that you like your Hot Wheels and you like your wrestling, and ta-da! Look what I found today. I didn't go out looking for this, and I haven't bought a wrestling figure for some 30 years, maybe nearly. But anyway, I came across these figures about a year ago. I know that Mattel were recreating figures that Hasbro made in the 1990s, in like say 1991, 92, 1993, maybe as late as 1994. There was a line of wrestling figures that were slightly bigger than 3 3/4 inch. They were that scale, and you know, nostalgia sells, doesn't it? I know that because that's a modern bottle of fairy liquid, but I saw this in the supermarket the other day, and it's a vintage bottle of fairy liquid. That's what the bottles used to look like, and I saw it and I thought, I've got to buy that, because this existed probably before my age of independence, where I even bought fairy liquid and washing liquid, you know what I mean? But I saw it and I thought, wow, that's so nostalgic, and I bought it. So they brought out this line of figures by Mattel, not Hasbro. Mattel were obviously trying to recreate some old glory, and these are 2 figures. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I might just keep them carded and put them in the other room there. If you don't know, if you're new to my channel, I went to Toys R Us when they were shutting down, and I bought a massive pegboard and loads of metal pegs, and I have a bit of a toy shop mock-up in the other room, so I might put them on there. But they're great, you know. I just thought I'd buy them for £4, by the way. So I thought, because I did see they were like on sale. They were like £7 a while ago, and I thought, nah, I don't really need them. I didn't buy them, but for £4, I can't not get them, can I? So there you go. That is everything there. There's stuff I'm going to open because I want it loose. There's stuff I'm going to potentially recard and customize it. So there you go. What a haul that is. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out. Psst.